Adjustment layers. In the previous chapter, we touched upon some of these adjustment layers, or adjustments. Now we're going to turn these into layers, so they're non-destructive. In other words, I can go in here to exposure and expose the entire shot. I can do that. That's boring. What I want to do is expose only some of the shot. Okay? So in this case, what I'm going to do is show you that when you paint a mask in the area, let's say I don't want anything to be affected on the dog. So what I'm going to do is paint the dog with that on. That's your mask. And we're going to just paint this dog. I'm just going to go over it a little bit just so I can show you how to repair it too. Okay, so there we go. We got a red dog. Clifford. Alright, so in here, if I go clicking on this, I can see that the ants go marching on around the document, but not the dog, because the dog is right. You can see that the ants don't go in this region. That means anything in this area will be exposed, but first, instead of going up here to the image adjustments exposure, what I'm going to do is go down here to exposure. What this will do is it'll make a clipping mask just like that below, and what that means is anything white will be affected, anything black will not be affected. So now I can rank up the exposure. Okay, and you can see that part I missed right here. So how do I fix that? Well, I click on this, and what I want to do is paint white in the area. Okay, in this case I want to paint area right here. Perfect. So now the exposure exposed that part. Also, what I could do with this is lower the flow quite a bit, and let's say I wanted the dog to really pop out. Well, what I do here is with a really low flow, I paint whatever's in front of the camera. So now I got that depth look. So here's with it off, here's with it on. Okay. And if you don't like it, another thing you could do is adjust the exposure ratio with the opacity. So I can turn that down. Another way you can adjust it is if you're in here, you can go image, adjustments, brightness, contrast, and you can adjust the brightness of contrast on just that mask. This will make a very, very subtle look. Okay. Alright, so that is using the adjustment layers. Keep in mind there are the same amount of adjustment layers here than there are up there, so I don't have to keep going through each one of these adjustment layers to kind of show you what they do, but this is a different way to do them in a very non-destructive fashion. Alright, so please move on to the next video.